Hello, I'm Claire Perks. I'm one of the GPs at Pembroke Road Surgery. I've just made a Polly Poppets video. It's half an hour. It talks you through what to do when you've got an unwell child in my usual Polly Poppets way. But it is a sit down and have a cup of tea effort. Here is the 5-minute headline news summary of my top points. So I first talked about how coronavirus is affecting children. There's a good summary of the evidence on the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health website. It basically shows that children are less susceptible to catching it for various physiological reasons. When they do catch it, they're more likely to be asymptomatic and have very mild disease. There are a handful of children who have been poorly with it and ended up needing supportive treatment on intensive care. They have had complex medical issues in the majority of cases, not just a sort of well-controlled asthma or diabetes. They've been previously poorly children. Children are getting it, so it's really important that we treat children as we treat ourselves and get tested if we have a child with a fever or continuous cough. So, should you get a test if your child has a cold? That is going to be the reality of this winter. Our children are going to get lots of coughs and colds. The Children's Hospital are beginning to see all the usual winter viruses coming back on their viral swabs that they're doing at the hospital. Still very low rates of coronavirus from what I'm told from colleagues at the hospital. So when your child has a snotty nose and is a bit miserable and is coughing lots, are you going to need to keep them off school and nursery and do a test? Well, if they're pretty well, they don't have a fever, they're all snotty, and they've got a bit of a cough in the morning where they need to hack up all that mucus that's been sitting on their chest, but then they're fine during the rest of the day, that's fine, they've got a cold. If they have a fever, they need a test, and I would take the whole family down to be tested. If they have cleared their chest in the morning, but they continue to cough throughout the day in a sort of dry, persistent cough, then yes, they do need a test. It's going to be very difficult to distinguish. So if you feel like your child is going to make somebody, family, school, nursery, feel uncomfortable by the way that they are poorly or they're coughing, i.e. it's a sort of significant symptom, then I think really we should all be going to get tested. The whole family should isolate while you get the result of the test. And then once you know that it is just a cold and it's negative, then off you go, back doing your normal socially distanced activities, whatever you can manage. If they are poorly and they have a fever, then manage them as per our usual advice, which if you watch my video, I go through it in some detail. But the summary is really, start off with paracetamol. Ibuprofen is fine, even if they have coronavirus. We would generally advise starting with paracetamol. If they then get a fever again, which often they do, you can alternate paracetamol, ibuprofen, and that just allows you to sort of get through your 24 hours before running out of your 4-hourly paracetamol. I would expect a child, once their temperature has come down, to be looking better, to be interacting, to be drinking, to be breathing calmly. When children are hot, they look awful and they breathe very quickly, like sort of panting like a dog. They often look quite listless, and that is the effect of a high fever. But I would expect once their fever has come down for them to start picking up, and if they don't, then that's when we'd like to hear from you. We are all here working very hard and have been throughout lockdown. We're all at the surgery. If you're worried about your child, call us. We'll call you back. One of the duty team will get back to you. And if we feel that we might send you a link to a sort of a Zoom call type thing where we can have a look at your child over video. And if we're really worried, then we may even get you into the surgery, and we're all ready. And we have been doing this throughout lockdown in our PPE and our chlorine cleaning. So if they're not picking up, give us a bell. Most viruses get better within about 3 to 5 days. So if you're managing the fever and you're giving them lots of fluids and they're sort of up and down, but it's been going on 4 or 5 days, do get in touch with us. Monitor their breathing, take off their clothes, have a look at their chest, see whether they're really struggling with their breathing, so pulling in at their neck, pulling in between their ribs, their tummy might be going in and out. Any small child who is constantly grunting like this, I would be worried about that. If it's out of hours overnight, there are lots of GPs working through the night, and you can access them through 111. There are lots of resources on our website, so do have a look at those. top last tip, teach your whole family, children from a young age, that if they don't have a hanky to hand and they need to cough or sneeze, then to do it into their elbow, which is much better than into your hands. All right, well, stay safe, all the best, and we're here if you need us. Bye.